Pam and Renee Untamed.
That's us.
Yep, that's us. Back with another episode of Let's Talk About It.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, we are the
Realtors.
Go-to realtors
Yeah.
here in Maryland. And we are today going to talk a little bit. We try to make our podcast really helpful and come up with DIY projects because we want to make sure that our client base and those people who would like to become our client base can actually listen to us, get a few laughs, and learn how to do some of this.
Information
Have
too.
some information, right. So we're going to talk today about how to put in some vinyl plank flooring. The estimates of time here are somewhere between 2 and 4 hours. That's for 120 square feet. So figure a 10 by 12 room.
Approximate, yeah.
Costs somewhere between $250 and $400.
Right.
And it says here that you likely bought your vinyl plank flooring as much for ease of installation as you did for its looks.
Exactly.
That's what I like.
Easy care too.
Easy care.
Mm-hmm.
And while you could use solid hardwood or engineered hardwood or ceramic or porcelain, you may have chosen vinyl flooring because you knew you could do it all by yourself.
We're hoping that's the end of the lesson right here.
Right
all
here.
By yourself,
now,
you can do it.
We have to tell you that with the other same as with other projects we've talked about, we don't know what we're doing because we haven't done it. But we do know enough about houses and show enough houses and see enough houses that we feel like we can help you out by giving you some instructions here.
And to tell you, this is a popular flooring that people like.
Vinyl plank is popular, and it says in research that we've done, of all of the do-it-yourself floor coverings, vinyl plank, also known as luxury vinyl, is one of the simplest to install. So there you go.
Simple is what we like best.
Simple. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. It's easy to cut, requires no bonding on the subfloor, and snaps together edge to edge and end to end. That's what they say.
That's great.
Okay?
No nails, no
screws.
No glue.
It's also ideal for high moisture areas such as bathrooms and basements because the material is completely impervious to water. That's a big word, impervious. But the bottom line is water won't hurt it. So a moderate sized room, they say, can be done in just a few hours.
All right. Once you get all your stuff together, you can get going, and that will be it.
And that will be it. So we're going to start with a list of what you need to install your vinyl plank flooring.
Right.
And again, this is going to be dependent on what the subfloor looks like. So get your pencil and paper.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to tell you what you need.
It's a list.
It's a list. So as far as equipment and tools, you're going to need a sander. Now, it says here you need a sander if needed. So, you know, if you don't need a sander, then you don't need a sander.
That's right. But get one just in case.
But just put on your list. And then when we look at your subfloor, we'll be able to tell.
Yeah.
So sander if needed. You need a flat pry bar.
Right.
This is not a drinking bar.
No, just a tool to help you with your
called a flat
installation.
Pry bar, right.
Exactly.
You need some pliers.
Pliers are good.
Pliers are good. You need a tape measure.
Exactly.
Utility knife.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to suggest extra blades because there's nothing worse than when the knife gets dull. And then
it makes a terrible cut.
Right. You need a fine tooth saw. Now, this may require a trip to the dentist if you don't have fine teeth.
That's right.
But I think you can just go to the store and buy one.
Get a saw that has fine teeth.
Fine tooth saw.
Yes.
Right. You need a straight edge. Make sure it's straight.
Nothing worse than a crooked
edge. Right.
That's right.
You need a carpenter's square.
Okay, that's good.
You need a drawbar tool. We are looking at each other because we don't know what that is, but you should get one.
We'll probably find out along the way here.
Absolutely. We'll see what you need it for. You need a hammer. You need a nail set.
I'm not sure why we need a nail set if we're not going to be using nails. Huh?
I don't know. But it doesn't say if needed, though. It just says hammer and nail set.
Okay, we'll try it.
And you need a pneumatic brad nailer. Now, that's optional.
Okay.
Now, not one with pneumonia, one that is pneumatic.
Yes, exactly.
So find one that hasn't had its pneumonia vaccine.
Right.
A brad nailer. And a rubber mallet.
So you had a regular hammer and now a rubber mallet. Okay, got it.
Hang on to these. The materials that you're going to need outside of the tools, you need the flooring. It's very difficult to install the floor if you don't have the flooring.
Got to get the flooring first.
You need sandpaper if needed.
Again, if needed.
So that's going to depend on what your subfloor looks like. Yeah. We'll get to that. It's funny because you needed a sander if needed and sandpaper if needed.
I'm thinking maybe the sandpaper if needed is for the edge of the planking.
Maybe.
Now the other one for the floor.
Maybe.
Okay, well, we'll see.
You need 1/4-inch spacers.
Okay.
Make sure you got 1/4-inch spacers. Doesn't say how many.
No, just a bunch.
Just a bunch. Buy a bunch of spacers. You need floor leveling compound if needed.
Right. So if your subfloor is not level, you want it level.
Right.
And so that's where that compound comes
And you can't do it like by putting, like a old yellow pages here to raise this part up. And this. You need the compound. And you need a concrete patcher if needed.
Okay, well.
So if your subfloor has concrete and it has cracks in it, we're going to talk about patching it.
Yes.
In which case you would need.
But don't use concrete patch on wooden floors.
No.
Just on the basement.
Just on the basement type.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first step, actually, the thing that we're looking at has all these tools laid out nice and neat on the ground, so you know right where they are. And the first step is to plan the flooring layout.
That's an important thing. You don't want to run out of
planks, and you also want to start in a way that you're going to work yourself out of the room. There's nothing worse than getting worked into the corner and then having to be stuck there.
That's it.
So it says to start with the most visible wall. I don't know. I find all the walls visible if I'm wearing my glasses.
Yeah, I think so too. But maybe when you walk in, that's the first wall you see.
That's what
straight
it says.
Ahead of you. Okay, there you go.
You are so smart.
I'm on it, aren't I?
You are on it. Woo. It's the most visible wall is usually the one that greets the eye as you enter the room. So when you walk in the room, listen for "Hello, eye."
There you go.
It's greeting the eye, right?
Or talk to Pam and she'll tell you which one it is.
Right. Enter the room. So then work outward toward the entryway. In a small bathroom, the most visible edge might be the one that runs alongside the bathtub.
Okay. Probably is.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Often.
And it says that you're going to lay the first row of planks parallel to this most prominent wall or room feature and then work your way across the room. Makes sense?
It does. So far, so good.
So far, so good. Your last row might be slightly uneven because few rooms are truly square.
Oh, boy.
Okay. We already got problems. But baseboards or shoe moldings will obscure an uneven edge.
Oh, that's where they come in, huh?
Shoe moldings.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need shoe moldings, which was not in the list, you're going to have to take your shoes and pull the molding off and then use the molding from your shoe. So anyway, that's when we get to the end. Now we do have a tip for you. You want to tell them what the tip is?
Yeah, you have to plan to stagger the rows. End joints should not be lined up so you have a one long row.
Right, you have to stagger it.
That's right.
So the end joints shouldn't be lined up from row to row. Offset the edge joints, not the joints you smoke, the edge joints by at least 6 inches from row to row.
Okay.
So you're moving this over back and forth.
Right.
So this is the tip. And the second step is to remove the trim moldings. Remove the trim that makes contact with the floor. So this includes baseboards, base shoe moldings. See, they already used shoe moldings. And case moldings around the doors.
Right. That's the molding that's in the room already.
Right.
You're going to take them off carefully so you don't damage them because you want to use them again.
You want to be able to put them back on.
Exactly.
Tap the edge of the pry bar behind molding. Place a thin board behind the bar to protect the wall.
Right, because you're going to pry the molding off. And if you try prying it without the thin board, you're going right in the drywall.
So put a board behind the bar.
Right.
Again, this is not the bar you're drinking.
Not that bar.
Not that bar. Okay. Leave door case moldings in place as it's difficult to cleanly remove them. So the door case moldings you're not going to take off because you're just going to lay the new plank up to those moldings.
That's exactly it. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Plan to undercut door case moldings with an undercut saw or an electric multi-tool.
Whoa. All right, then. I don't have one of those.
I don't either.
Yeah.
And it keeps saying undercut. It makes me think of, undercut, like when you punch somebody in the jaw. Yeah. Okay, we have another tip here.
Plan to reuse the molding. That's what we just talked about, that you're taking it off. You don't want to damage it. Remove the thin brad nails by pulling them out from the backside with pliers.
So when you're pulling this molding away from the wall, it's going to have these little thin brad nails.
Right.
You're going to pull them out from the backside using pliers.
See?
Because then you can reuse the molding.
Exactly.
It's tip number 2. Okay, we're ready to prepare the floor. So you're going to be, most of the time, it says that vinyl planking can be laid right over the existing flooring. So that's good that you don't have to remove the existing flooring, unless it's carpet.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Don't go over top of the carpet.
Don't go over the carpet. If your existing flooring is carpet, get rid of it.
Yes.
And we can do another podcast at another time on how to get rid of carpet, but it's pretty easy. You just start at one corner and start lifting it up.
Rip it out.
And be careful that you don't get stuck on those little carpet tacks that stick out of the floor. They're bad. They're really bad. So if there are any high spots, they should be sanded down to create a flush surface for the new floor. Right. So you want your surface to be nice and flush. This is where the sanding paper or the sander, if needed, comes in. Right. Your goal is to create the flattest, smoothest surface possible for the vinyl plank flooring.
There you go. Perfect.
Perfect. So it says, if you're laying vinyl plank flooring over a concrete subfloor, fill the cracks or divots with concrete patcher. This is where the concrete compound, if needed. Yep. Okay. So if you are doing a basement or somewhere that has concrete flooring after you have removed, if you had carpeting over concrete, this is when you're going to have to make sure that you replace,
level it out. Yeah.
Fill any cracks or divots.
Right.
Like you do on the golf course with the divot. You know, you pick up the divot and then you got to put it back. All right. If you're laying the flooring over a plywood subfloor, fill any depressions with a floor leveling compound.
This takes care of depression.
This is it. You do not have to take antidepressants to do this job.
You just use floor leveling compound.
Right. Just fill in any depressions.
And if you don't, then you will be depressed.
If you don't and you have any depressions, you'll have more depressions when you put in the floor and it's going to...
That's what happens.
Yep. Okay, so we're to the 4th step now. Which is to test fit the first row of planks.
All right, then.
So you're going to test fit the first row of vinyl planks down the length of the wall.
That's that first visual
wall.
The
wall that said, the wall that said, hello, I, that greeted your eye. Remember, said, hello, I.
Yep.
Right. Visually, the flooring layout will be more pleasing.
Most pleasing.
So. Most pleasing. If the cut planks are of roughly equal lengths at the opposite side walls. Wait.
Whatever that means.
We're completely confused. All right. Visually, the flooring layout will be most pleasing. We want that to be pleasing.
Of course.
If cut planks are of roughly equal lengths at the opposite side walls. So if the plank is not long enough to do the whole wall, which it won't be, you want to make sure that you leave equal lengths at the opposite side walls. Is that what that means?
Maybe. Let's see if maybe it tells us.
Okay. Start with a full plank. I always believe in starting. It's like playing with a full deck.
Yes. You don't want to start with a half plank.
Yeah. You know, how many half planks we got here. Start with a full plank at the center of the wall and work to the side.
To either side.
Right.
Either way.
Either way. So cut planks at the ends will be of equal length.
Right.
Okay.
So on both sides of the center plank, they should be the same length.
Absolutely.
Got it.
Leave a 1/4 inch gap. I know why you have to leave a 1/4 inch gap. You know why? Because you bought 1/4 inch spacers.
All right, then there you go. We'll see.
Okay. Leave a 1/4 inch gap at the wall and at the ends. Place the spacers, told you, against the walls to establish this expansion gap.
Okay. So you need that because this vinyl flooring stuff does expand and contract.
Because it's impervious to water.
There you go.
And steam and things like that.
Whatever.
Okay. So now we're down to the next tip. Your next tip is to...
Did we do that? No.
No. We're tip number 5. No, I didn't. I went from 4 to 5. See?
Yeah, but that's not a tip.
Oh, no, that's not a tip.
That's just standard stuff.
Standard stuff.
Okay.
Cut planks to size. So you cut partially through the plank with a carpenter square and a utility knife.
All right. A carved
Okay.
square helps you get that straight line there.
Yeah. Run the knife gently across the face of the plank several times rather than trying to cut it in one pass.
Well, you can do it gently or lightly, whichever.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
back and forth and back
Yeah.
and forth and back and forth until you have a groove that you can then cut through.
Okay.
Okay. Now I know that you guys can't see my hands, but I do everything with my hands. So,
She's going back and
I'm
forth,
going
back and
back and
forth,
forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Okay.
Okay, now we're getting to the good part because we're going to do flips.
Uh-huh.
Then flip the board over so that the finished surface is facing down.
Got it. So
Okay, it's
where you were
upside
just
down.
going back and forth on it is on the bottom.
It's on the bottom. Fold the plank back. So you're going to fold it back where you made that crease, that
So
line.
it's gonna make you're folding it to the other side. Yes,
Right.
all right. Yeah.
It may snap off by itself.
Ooh.
And when it does, don't jump up and go, I broke it, I broke
That's
it.
right.
Okay,
Probably a good thing.
this is good. It may snap off by itself. If not, finish the cut by lightly running the utility knife through the fold.
See, there you go.
There you go.
So you've cut partially through before you flipped it.
By going back and forth and back and forth and back and
Now
forth.
you're flipping and it'll fold it. It'll either break
Or you
in
cut it
half
through.
on the line or you need to cut it again.
Okay. Here's
Now we
another
have
tip.
a tip.
Mm.
Now we have a tip.
So, as an alternative, you can use a fine-tooth handsaw to cut straight through the entire plank. So we just went through all this stuff that you have to do. But if you have a fine tooth, this is the one where you went to the dentist.
That's right.
You got a fine-tooth handsaw, you can cut straight through the entire plank.
You can skip that.
You can skip all
Yep.
that other stuff and folding and all that stuff.
But I would assume, I bet you more people are going to do the folding kind because working with a saw is not the easiest either.
True that.
You know?
True that.
All right.
Okay, so now
Connect the flooring planks.
connecting the flooring planks.
Woo.
This is where it gets tough.
Mm.
Okay, it says most luxury vinyl planks attach edge to edge and end to end with a fold and lock type tongue and groove system. I'd like to point out that that sentence has 3 different things that are hyphenated. Edge to edge, end to end, fold and lock. Oh, 4 things. Tongue and groove.
See? This is good.
This is good
teaches
stuff.
you English as well. See?
Yeah. Most
Grammar
luxury
and everything.
vinyl planks attach edge to edge and end to end with a fold and lock type tongue and groove system. One plank lies flat on the subfloor, while the other plank is held at an angle and placed into the first board's receiving groove. So you push it into the groove, and then you fold the second board until it lies flat and parallel to the first board, and it draws the 2 boards together and locks them in place.
Woo. Okay.
So
you're holding it up, you're pushing it into one, then you're laying it down and it'll snap together.
and they're going to
Or-
snap together.
Okay,
or
good.
locks together.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
once the first row is laid. Oh,
Don't go there.
don't go there. I'm not going to go there. But
All right.
once the first row is laid, continue across the floor with subsequent rows. First joining the planks end to end, then positioning the new row along the edge of the previous row and folding its tongue into the groove of the previous row.
Woo,
That
that's
is
a mouthful.
lot.
That's a mouthful.
So you're putting these planks together
end to end.
end to end.
So you have like maybe a 10-foot one.
Right. And then you're going to put it into the tongue and groove
And then
of the
push it down
previous
until
row
it locks
and
in.
push it down and it locks into place.
Oh, easy. Easy,
I
Pete. Oh, no problem.
Make sure that end joints, once again, we're with the joints again. Make sure that end joints are staggered. So they're 6 inches away from the end joints in the previous row. So none of these planks that you are putting together are going wall to wall. Right? Am I getting that right?
As far as I could tell, yes, so far.
Oh my goodness. Make sure the end joints are staggered so they're at least 6
Well,
inches.
this is where we don't want the same cut all
the way across.
all the way.
You want to stagger them.
Exactly.
As you're putting the rows
and they're doing
together.
the 6-inch stagger.
Right.
Oh, another tip.
They're doing the 6-inch stagger. I don't know about you, but I've done the foxtrot.
Never did a 6-inch
I
stagger.
never did a 6-inch stagger. I've done waltzes.
See? No 6-inch stagger.
No 6-inch
You're going to
stagger.
learn to stagger now.
Ooh, I know how to stagger because I've gone to the bar. Now, this is not the pry bar.
Not
The bar that I've been to is the bar that you can get liquid.
Where you get a stagger.
And it's usually good because in those bars, they typically have vinyl plank, which is impervious to the liquid that people spill from getting stuff at the bar.
Obviously, getting too staggered.
Getting too staggered. So we have another
All right, tip time.
tip time. At the final planks in a row. Oh, here we go. The end butt joints. We have butt joints now. Butt joints pretty tricky to fit.
Oh my
Um,
God.
at the final planks in a row, the end butt joints can be tricky to fit. A drawbar tool. We need a drawbar tool. Can be used to gently pull the end plank to snug up these joints.
Get him snug.
We make sure that these end butt joints fit right. So hook one end of the tool over the far end of the plank, and then tap lightly on the other end of the drawbar to tug the butt joint together. Just dying over here because I have no idea what they're talking about. Okay.
All right.
What do you think? Right now, so
Oh my God.
hopefully that
Okay.
you're not crying when you're doing this because it doesn't matter. The floor, it's impervious to water. It doesn't matter.
That's right.
Let's start this tip again. At the final planks in a row.
Right.
Those are the ones at the end.
Got it.
The final ones you put together. The end butt joints can be tricky to fit.
Okay.
We got that.
Oh, I got that boy for sure.
A drawbar tool can be used to gently pull the end plank to snug up these joints.
Okay.
You can also just bring a blanket and everybody be perfectly snug.
That's it.
Hook one end of the tool over the far end of the plank.
Oh,
Then
I see.
tap lightly
It's
on the
coming
other
from
end.
the opposite end, so you can tap it all the way over.
Oh, butt joints.
Yeah,
I get
That's
it.
what I
They're
think.
butting the joints up together.
That's what I think.
I got it. Okay. Hopefully you all at home have this now.
I think there. No, that's
No,
cutting.
he's cutting there. Okay, so everybody good with your butt joints. If you have any problems with your butt joints, you can always reach out to us because we're happy to help.
And we'll do some research.
We'll do some more research. The best way to get us is to send an email to pnr.untamed@gmail.com. That's PNR, like Pam N. Renee. PNR Untamed. Is it Untamed? PNR.untamed@gmail.com. There you go. I got it.
Okay, good.
Send us whatever questions you have because we will find the answers.
If you can find the email.
If you can.
All right,
Okay.
let's go. Here we
Next step, we have to cut for protrusions.
Oh, yeah. Those darn protrusions are always a pain.
I hate it. Those protrusions. Where you encounter obstacles such as door frames or floor ducts or vinyl planks can be cut with a utility knife or easily snipped to the desired shape with tin snips or heavy-duty shop scissors.
Now, one thing, they did not tell us about tin snips, did they?
Or heavy-duty shop scissors.
It was not in our list.
Nothing was
pay
on the
attention
list.
to that. Add it
to your list now.
Yes.
You're going to need some tin snips or heavy-duty shop scissors unless you are putting the vinyl plank in a room that does not have door frames.
Protrusions.
No protrusions. No door frames. No floor ducts.
Yep.
Nothing like that, which is not likely.
Right.
Because why would you be doing that? Okay. This talks about how to fit the planks around protrusions. Okay. After making the cutouts, so you've cut out for the shape of the protrusion.
Right.
Like the wall is protruding over here, so you have to cut that out. You've used either the tin snips or the utility knife or whatever.
And you probably used your measuring tool to
make
measure
sure.
how much you're cutting out.
Right. So it says, first attach the plank to the adjoining plank while holding the cutout plank upward at an angle. So you're going to attach it, hold the cutout part up and at an angle, and then slowly fold down the cutout plank until it locks into place with the other adjoining plank. I think he adjoined it down at the other end.
The other end?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see.
And then it says vinyl plank flooring is flexible enough that it can usually be bent enough to fit around door frames and other protrusions.
Really?
So
okay,
there you go.
We'll see, won't we?
Depending on the nature of the obstruction, it may be necessary to disassemble previous planks in order to navigate the cutout plank into position. Now,
Now it's getting more complicated for sure.
seems to me that that's a really big waste of time.
Only have a room with no protrusions. That's the answer. The answer is that.
And if there is a protrusion, I feel like you should put the plank into the part where the protrusion is before you put the straight planks in that don't have any protrusions.
I don't know. I think it's the opposite end of the room, though.
Maybe.
Okay.
So there you go. You might have to disassemble a couple previous planks and navigate around the cutout plank to get it in position. Okay, we're down to cut and the final planks.
Woo! Final planks.
I'm so tired. So it says to trim the last row of planks lengthwise to make it fit. Be sure to incorporate the 1/4-inch gap. Cut the planks lengthwise with a utility knife and metal straight edge.
Okay, because you want it nice and straight.
Right. Join the narrow planks end to end and then fold the tongues into the grooves of the previous row. So remember, you're attaching the planks going one way, and then you're taking the whole row of attached planks and you're using the groove, the tongue and groove, to put it into the previous row.
So you have to attach the ends first and then the whole thing to the other ones. Okay.
And if necessary, a flooring pull bar can be used to tug this final narrow plank into place against the previous row.
There you go. The pull bar came up before.
Yeah, that was in the list of things that you need, and it wasn't optional. Okay, it's time to reinstall all the trim moldings because you just finished laying all that flooring and it looks awesome. Fantastic. So it says after the flooring is laid, I don't even know anyone who wants to lay a piece of floor, but that's another topic. Reattach the baseboards and trim, preferably using a pneumatic brad nailer.
Okay, so that was a question before. We didn't know why we needed that since the flooring didn't need a nail. But now we know. It's for the trim.
It's for the trim, to put the trim back on. Manually nailing with a hammer, while possible, can easily damage the trim, while a brad nailer does this work effortlessly.
It just goes bam, and it goes
right in.
That's it, yes. See, we know our stuff.
Absolutely. The question here is, if you're going to manually nail with a hammer, first of all, you have to use tiny little nails, those little brad nails. And if you're going to use a hammer, you're going to no doubt hit yourself right in the thumb.
So if you use the other thing, you're not touching it.
Yeah, and it works much more effortlessly.
It's going to be right in the nailer and shoot it in there.
Shoots it right in there. If you do manually nail, use a nail set to recess the nail head.
That was on our list.
Go.
Yes.
Below the surface of the trim. If the level of the floor has been raised enough, it may be necessary to trim the ends of the door case moldings to fit the reduced space. So this comes into play if you are putting your vinyl plank over existing flooring because you're going to raise the flooring.
Could be.
It's going to be, then you might have to trim the bottom of the door, is what they're saying.
Or if this is thicker than what you had there.
Right.
That could be
could be too.
Yes.
So you want to make sure you do that so that you will be able.
Here's a tip.
Oh, wait. But you want to make sure you do that so you can still use the doors in the room. That's important.
Well, that's true. You want to be able to open and close.
Right.
All right.
So we have a final tip for you here today. It says you may want to use this opportunity to replace shoe moldings or other trim, especially if the old trim was cracked or damaged when it was removed. So good idea not to put back cracked or damaged molding.
It does. It takes away from your nice new floor.
Right. New molding and moldings installed alongside new flooring make for a very polished and elegant look.
The end.
The end. So the way we figure it, you've got your floor installed by now, right?
That's it. You did a great job, too.
You did a great job. We are excited to be able to share all of these things with you. And as we mentioned at the beginning of our podcast, we are both the go-to realtors for the state of Maryland.
Yes, we are.
And always willing to help with projects, always willing to help our clients.
And we're very experienced agents.
Extremely experienced agents. I'm not too experienced with the vinyl flooring, but
no,
I'm getting there.
But real estate, we're very experienced.
Yeah. Best you can get.
Exactly.
So if you do want to reach out to us, just another reminder, you can reach us at pnr.untamed@gmail.com. That's Pam N. Renee, but it's just PNR because that was easier. .untamed at gmail.com. And we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have, any additional information that you need when you're putting in your vinyl flooring. If you want us to come look at your vinyl flooring, as long as you buy us a ticket to fly to wherever you are, we're more than happy to do that. And we'll give you our expert opinion.
Yes. One
And
other thing we want to mention is we want to thank Gavin Klosterman for our intro music.
yeah,
He did a fantastic job.
we hope you enjoyed that music.
Yes.
That was Gavin, and he did write that and record that just for our podcast.
That's exactly
You cannot hear that music anywhere else.
No, you cannot.
Not even at the bar.
And it's very catchy.
It's very catchy. So
Great.
thanks for tuning in today. We were happy to spend some time with you. And as always, there'll be another episode of Pam and Renee Untamed. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
And we're going to try to find things that just help make your life that much easier.
Exactly. And have a few laughs while we do it.
Laughs while we do it.